You're locked into Elevated Radio FM.
And welcome to Elevated Radio. My name is Rick Delgado. I'm your host, and welcome to Professional Development with Dr. Maggie Sizer. She is the owner at On Track Coaching, based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. If you want to find out more about her, the great work she does, how it can be beneficial to you in your life, in your business, wherever you think you might need some coaching, reach out to her. 888-515-3131. That's toll free, 888-515-3131, or ontrackcoaching.net. That is the website for Dr. Maggie Sizer. And Doctor, welcome to the program, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm absolutely wonderful and having a great day.
All right, good to hear. And you're in a very nice part of the country too there, Doctor, aren't you?
Absolutely, Virginia Beach. Well, at least until noon. They're predicting storms later on.
Ah, well, you know what? It's still a gorgeous place. I've been there a couple times. It's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, before we get started here, Doctor, do me a favor. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do as the owner of On Track Coaching.
Okay, a little bit about myself personal. I'm a wife of 35 years, a mother. I'm in the grandmother stage now. I'm very happy about that.
Okay.
And very exciting time in life. And at On Track Coaching, what we do is we provide professional development via coaching, one-on-one coaching, and primarily training for organizations and both private and the public sector.
Right. And now, how long have you been doing this?
This company has been in business since 2014, so almost 5 years.
All right. And I got to ask, what took you down this road to get into the coaching field? Uh-oh.
Well,
it could be a loaded question. Here we go.
Well, having worked in higher education for almost 20 years, I realized that a lot of leaders especially were struggling with their own self-image and struggling with how to become the effective leader that they really wanted to be. And having myself worked in the job market for other people for over 20 years, I realized what it's like to have to work under a leader that doesn't have excellent leadership skills. Right.
Yeah, and that's something that I think is missing. You know, when people get moved up the food chain, so to speak, in their career, at their job, a lot of times, you know, and I've seen it in sales. And let me know, Doctor, if you've seen this too, or at least worked with people in this capacity where somebody's a great salesperson, so the company says, you know what, you're going to manage our sales.
That's exactly right. I've seen that so many times, and yet we wouldn't go to a doctor or a dentist who was like that.
Right.
I mean, just because they could do great molding, we wouldn't all of a sudden want them to be our dentist, nor they graduated in 1968, haven't had a conference, haven't had any training, haven't read any books,
right.
But we go to them for them to work on our teeth.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're taking someone that could be performing very highly in a specific area, now changing the entire dynamic, but probably, you know, as that company, you're not really giving them the training that they need. And that's probably where you step in, right?
That's exactly right. Because the reason why training is so important is it costs money to have employees that are not trained. Because untrained employees equal unhappy employees. Untrained workers have low production value. Untrained workers are inefficient. It costs lost time and money due to mistakes. It increases miscellaneous mistakes. And insufficient staff training means loss or potential loss of customers.
Right. And then that also leads to high turnover, doesn't it?
That's exactly right. So the retention rate is very poor, which we know means more cost in the HR area for hiring new employees.
Right.
Very expensive to bring on a new employee.
Yeah, that's true. People like to, you know, kind of promote from within and think, well, this person, they've been here long enough, they know what they're doing. But a lot of times they need a little coaching as well to get them in their, you know, to overtake their new position, right?
That's exactly right, because the skills that are needed at the current level, when a person gets promoted, may not be the same skills that they need at the new level. Even within leadership, as you go up in leadership, some of the skills you don't use in the lower levels are required in the higher levels of leadership.
Right.
If you talk about something like negotiations and financial management, in the first levels of leadership, you may not need to have those skills, but you certainly need them as you continue to grow in your career.
Right. So take me through this process here, Dr. Maggie. When somebody does reach out to you, maybe it's a small business, an entrepreneur, or maybe a larger corporation that is like, you know what, we've got to shore up our people. How does that whole process start with you?
Well, if it's an organization, we start with the climate assessment to find out what's actually going on and where the training really needs to take place. And from there, we go on to working with the organization to design the training to meet the need. And then, depending on their workforce, whether they can come into one location and have the training, or do we provide the training online, or do we use some other mode of technology like VCT?
Right. So now, okay, so take us through it. Do you have set up, I want to say, programs that say, okay, it's gonna run this amount of time, and from there you start, working on goals, or how does that work?
Okay, in the training process, it really depends, because we have training that's offered, first of all, online. So that is, the employees can go in and take the training anytime they'd like to take it, or an event individual. Anybody can go onto our website and go online and take a class. But if a company wants to do it, then we set up with them how many seats they want in the class, and we take them through the class. Now, if they want on-site training, we work with them. If on most of our training and leadership is a 2-day process. And so we have the employees come in for 2 days. However, some organizations cannot afford to have their people off the floor or out of the workforce for 2 days. And so we try to provide them with the most beneficial skill sharpening tools that we can in a 1 day, usually from 8 to 4.
Okay. And so now when you are working, say you're working with, within the corporate setting, right? You're consulting, you're training with a group. Is it set up for like a 1 day a week kind of thing? I mean, take me through that, how you're setting it up so they know what to look for. Do you do team building as well and stuff like that?
That's exactly right. We do the soft skills for leadership, because technical knowledge is not enough. So we do leadership, we do team building, emotional intelligence, teaching people how to communicate better with one another. We use assessments, leadership assessments, such as the conflict management assessment, the emotional intelligence assessment, or one of the biggest ones is the DISC assessments. And with those, we can foster better team building, improve communication, and teaching people how to appreciate differences, which then influences and enhances the teamwork.
Right. All right. Well, that's good to know. Again, we're talking with our guest, Dr. Maggie Sizer. She is the owner at On Track Coaching, based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. OnTrackCoaching.net. If you go there, you can see a lot of the information that she does with people in terms of training, coaching, doing assessments. Read a little bit about her. You can contact her through there as well. Hey, let me ask you this, because on the training, right, you do on-site, but you also mentioned an online program.
You can reach the online program straight through our website. It's right there on the front page. It's MS Training Solutions, and you have an opportunity to go in and see the classes that we have. 3 special classes up there right now for based on this radio promotion. And if people want to take one of those classes after the promotion, they can have a coupon code, and the coupon code is Elevate, and they can receive the online classes.
All right. Can you say that again? Your phone dropped out.
Oh, okay. Sure. We have 3 special classes right now that will help sharpen leadership skills on our website. And if they use the code Elevate, from listening to today's program,
Right.
the coupon is for 50% off of their class.
Okay. Now, what are those courses called? Because I think I'm on the right page, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so the first one is How to Be a Likeable Boss, and that goes through the skill building for being able to show empathy, being able to work with people who are different. Another one is assertiveness. I've done assertiveness training both for Project Management Institute, PMI, and for individual organizations, and that's a huge one for a lot of people, especially I know the class was taken by a lot of my international students.
Right.
And then the third one is time management, learning how to manage your time so it's not going to manage you.
Oh, my goodness. I think we all need that, not only at work, but throughout our entire lives, right?
Exactly right. Yes.
and you know what's interesting too, now that I mention it, it's stuff like this, maintaining the balance, the assertiveness you're talking about, or being a more likable boss, and even the time management. I guess those things are transferable to other parts of your life. I mean, yeah, it's great to have them for work, but to be able to say, you know what, now I can go home and I can kind of manage, because we always get bogged down with stuff, whether at work or at home.
Exactly right. And one of our classes that's coming online next month is how to maintain work-life balance. The skills that we use in leadership, they're universal. We can use them at home. We can use them in our community. We can use them in our social activities. They just all prove to help make us a more well-rounded and more effective individual.
Right. All right. So if you want to look into that, again, the online training program. So if you're not in the Virginia Beach area, or you're not working in a company that's currently working with Dr. Sizer, go online. Look into it. Whether you're working on communication, active listening, conflict management, team building, leadership, it's all contained in, they've got these 3 great programs right now, featured courses on assertiveness, how to maintain balance, learn how to respect yourself while respecting others. You've got time management. Well, we all know what that means. And how to be a more likable boss. We all want bosses we like, right?
Yeah.
So it would definitely behoove you to check these out. Again, going to the website ontrackcoaching.net, go under training, the tab for training, and then you'll see the online training courses there on your right hand side. Hey, doctor, we got to take a quick break. All right. Okay. So let me just remind people, we're talking with Dr. Maggie Sizer, the owner at On Track Coaching. You want to reach out to her privately? Do so toll-free, 888-515-3131 or ontrackcoaching.net. Right now, quick break. More with her after these words right here on Elevated Radio.
A lot can happen in 6 seconds. A rodeo ride, a dramatic basketball win, and the world record holder can solve a Rubik's Cube. 6 seconds is how long it takes for an 18-wheeler traveling at a safe speed to come to a complete stop. And in those 6 seconds, that truck will travel the length of 2 football fields. So please, give them room. Never cut in front of a large truck for any reason. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I used to literally plan my day around my cigarettes. I felt that I should give up. No matter how much I tried, it just failed miserably. I think if left to my own devices, it possibly would have ended up a disastrous effort yet again, as it has done many times before. The doctor was there to support you, and it's in their interest and in everybody's interest for you to stop smoking.
Speak to your healthcare professional about all the treatment options to help you quit, or go to quitwithhelp.co.uk. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
You're locked into Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM.
And welcome back to Elevated Radio again. My name is Rick Delgado. I'm your host, and you're listening to Professional Development with Dr. Maggie Sizer, the owner at On Track Coaching, based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Give her a call directly and privately at toll-free 1-888-515-3131 or go to the website, ontrackcoaching.net. She's got a lot of great information about her, the work she does, how it can be beneficial to you, your organization, your people, and it's all about making everybody happy, right, Doc?
That's exactly correct. Also, if they're interested, we also have a monthly newsletter which gives some best practices and tips for leaders. They can sign up on our website as well.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Now, let me ask you this, because what is the big takeaway when somebody's working with you? And I mean that on different levels, because it is about coaching. And I think we've all seen, whether you're trying to develop yourself as a high performer or a high performing team, you see the best people in the world, the Steph Currys of the world, the LeBron James of the world, all these athletes, they're still on top, right? They're the best at what they do. But guess what? They're still working with coaches. That's exactly right. It's very important to be able to work with a coach. I like to say we have heart here at On Track Coaching. The H standing for we hear and listen to people. We find out what problem it is that they want solved. If it's a problem, we develop and help them achieve their long-term goals. We even work on improving performance. We're engaged. We not only listen, but we also engage with the people to hear what it is they really want to achieve. Right.
Affable, friendly, pleasant, easygoing, and gregarious. They are for resilient, robust training, spirited, and strong. And then T, which is most important to my heart, is transformational. We provide transformational coaching, transformational training.
Right. What's funny too is that one of the things that, and you've got it featured here on your under training on your website, ontrackcoaching.net, and that's the what you've titled "Immunity to Change." It kind of makes me laugh. Because everybody talks about it, right, Doc? That you know what, we have to change, we have to do this, or they make those New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna lose 872 pounds. I'm gonna have a body for the beach by June. Blah blah blah. Change, and all of a sudden they run into a little bit of resistance, and they fall right back into their old habits.
That's exactly right. That's why coaching is so important, and more organizations are starting to realize that training by itself is not important, is not enough. You've got to have that follow-up coaching, because that's what happens. People get excited, and in our training, they even get ignited to go out and make change and do it better. But then when the pressures of life hit, they revert back to what they know. So what coaching does at the 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day is reinforces that, and it helps the individual be able to make those changes they want to, even when life really gets going at them.
Right. And it's about that accountability too. I mean, let's face it. If nobody's watching, are you going to do it, or are you going to let it slide just because, well, I could do it tomorrow?
That's exactly right. Rick, can I share something with you really quick?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I don't know the author of this, but it's one of my favorites, and I share this with people all the time. It's about an interesting funeral. So one day, all the employees of this company reached their office and saw a big sign on the main door which said, "Yesterday, the person who was hindering your growth in this company passed away. We invite you to join the funeral in the room that has been prepared." So they all go into the room, and they all start looking around, and they see everybody there. So they thought, well, who was the person hindering their progress?
Right.
And who was that passed away? Long story short, they got in line, they went around the casket, and when each person looked in the casket, they saw a mirror of themselves. There was only one person who was capable of setting limits on your growth. It's you.
Right.
And that's the word I want to leave with everyone today. The only one hindering you in your career growth and the aspirational desires is you.
Right.
And we at On Track Coaching can help your organization or you as an individual achieve those desires.
Right. That's pretty powerful. What was did they follow up with any backup as to what happened following that? With those people, because that when you look in the mirror, and that's what it is, you're looking in the mirror, and you know, and it's been said, you know, numerous times, Doc, that we are our own biggest obstacles.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Haven't followed up with those people, but that's an interesting thought that you asked that question.
Right. Yeah, and it also comes to, you know, that accountability.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things coaching provides as well.
Right.
Is helping individuals with that accountability, even if it's just self-accountability.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's something I learned when I was a kid, you know, high school and college, having coaches and, you know, and teammates as well, is that you did not want to let that person down.
Exactly. But as our society is changing, people are having different thoughts about that. But to be effective in the business world and the business community, your word's got to mean something.
Right.
And we have to build in resilience and tenacity. And unfortunately, we're starting to have to teach people these things because they didn't learn it in school.
Yeah, and it truly is something that needs to be, you know, and I'm not sure if it's you know, the PC climate or technology which is making people, you know, feel like, well, things are easier now. I don't have to try as hard. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We even hear it in the university setting. I didn't get an A in my class, and they come to see you as the dean, and they say, well, I tried hard. Well, okay, so you got the grade that you earned based on how you tried hard. You don't get an A just because you tried hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all those participation medals that people are striving for.
That's exactly right. Now, when I was coming up, not to tell my age, when I was coming up, if you were the weak link on the chain, people let you know it.
Yeah.
But now, to be politically correct, people don't know it until they're adults, and that's awfully hard to learn that lesson when you're an adult.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And, a lot of people are really struggling.
Right. Which means you're going to be busy. Because people need people need to learn this stuff because they're not learning it when they should.
Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing. Again, we're talking with our guest, Dr. Maggie Sizer. You've got an interesting background, don't you, as well?
Yes, I do. I started off with the United States military as Air Force Air Traffic Controller. Mm-hmm. And from there, I went into the private sector and worked in leadership. And then upon finishing my PhD, I went into adult education as my profession. Mm-hmm. So I've been an academic dean, and I've served a year as a regional dean. And as the market changed and the schools started downsizing was when I got the idea that I like teaching, I like training, I like facilitating, so I'm going to start my own thing. So that's about 4 years ago when it started.
Right. Well, you know what? Thank you for your service. I mean, you know, Air Force, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, you know? Well, and being an air traffic controller too. So thank you.
So do you mind if we do a flyby there, Ghost Rider?
I'm really right off of Oceana, so sometimes I have to tell people, hold on, the planes are passing.
You know what? Okay, I got to ask you because that was a big part of your background there. So is that something pilots would do? Would they do flybys and stuff like that?
No. Oh, it's too highly regulated.
All right.
No,
it's just a Top Gun thing.
Yeah, okay. That's just
All right.
That's for the movies.
Right, exactly. Well, you know what? If you're talking about inspiring and looking to get the best out of yourself, maybe the best out of your team, the best out of your business, the best out of your life, reach out to our guest, Dr. Maggie Sizer. She is the owner at On Track Coaching. She's based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. OnTrackCoaching.net is her website. She's also available by phone. All you got to do is dial her up toll free. 1-888-515-3131. Hey, tell me again about the coaching deal you've got going on. So they've got to go to training and then hit the tab on the online training, right?
Right. For the online training, now that's for a training, an online class. And if they use the coupon Elevate from listening to this program, then they get the 50% off. But they have to use the coupon Elevate.
Right. So you got to type in Elevate when you're logging in, when you're signing up, and you'll get that at 50%. Again, it's through OnTrackCoaching.net. You go through OnTrackCoaching.net, click on the training. You'll see it there on the right-hand side. She also does on-site training. So if you're in that area or you want to just fly her in and say, you know what, she's used to flying. Let's fly her in and have her help our people, maybe work on strategy, work on diversity and inclusion, project management, motivating for a higher performance from your team or from even yourself. Reach out to Dr. Maggie Sizer, 1-888-515-3131 or ontrackcoaching.net. Doctor, great stuff today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You have a great day. We'll be back with more on Elevated Radio right after these words.
You're locked in to Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM. Radio.